In drought-hit northern Iraq, a significant archaeological discovery
on the mysterious ancient handbag, which are presented in some of the oldest civilizations on Earth.
In the deserts near ancient Uruk, archaeologists unearthed an object once thought mythical, an intricately carved stone handbag identical to those held by gods in Sumerian and Assyrian art. Long dismissed as symbolic, it is now a tangible artifact, hinting at advanced knowledge preserved across millennia. Covered in geometric patterns and proto-writing, the handbag may be a time capsule left by ancient teachers who shaped early civilization. Its discovery challenges our understanding of history and raises a haunting question. What lost wisdom lies sealed within its stone walls? The unexpected discovery. In the scorching heat of the Iraqi desert near ancient Uruk, an archaeological team was busy excavating what seemed to be a typical site, yielding nothing beyond standard pottery shards and clay tablets. Mike Adams, a young archaeological assistant from Oregon, had been digging for hours when his shovel finally struck stone, sending a shock through his body. This was no ordinary rock. As he carefully brushed away the packed earth, a rectangular object emerged, a perfectly carved stone with a distinctive curved handle on top. His hands trembled with excitement and disbelief as he realized the significance of what he was uncovering. The craftsmanship was unlike anything Mike had seen in the field before. Covering its surface were intricate geometric patterns, spirals, and tessellations formed with such precision that they hinted at knowledge far beyond the expected skills of its presumed age. Despite millennia underground, the stone radiated a mysterious luster, almost as if it defied time itself. Mike wasted no time and called over the team's lead archaeologist, Dr. Asha Neifer, whose reaction quickly shifted from curiosity to stunned amazement. The object, she whispered, looked exactly like the legendary handbag symbols that had baffled scholars for generations. For decades, archaeologists had found these handbag-shaped symbols carved into ancient Sumerian and Assyrian reliefs throughout Mesopotamia. Figures both divine and royal were depicted clutching these strange objects, but no one had ever found an actual replica until now. Some called these purses of the gods. Other theories suggested they were containers for sacred knowledge, or perhaps even early forms of technology. Holding the heavy stone-ized handbag in his hands, Mike had no idea that this single find would trigger a cascade of revelations, challenging everything we thought we knew about early human civilization. This discovery was pivotal because it served as a tangible link between myth and reality, an artifact thought to be symbolic only now made physical. The site near Uruk, once the heart of Sumerian power, was revealing a layer of history shrouded in mystery. Suddenly, the mundane excavation transformed into an archaeological thriller, with every team member realizing that the object could rewrite the story of Mesopotamia and humanity's origins. But this was only the beginning. Much more lay hidden beneath this stone's enigmatic surface. Before this moment, the handbag had been dismissed by many scholars as a decorative or symbolic device, possibly even a stylized bucket used for ritual purposes. Yet, here it was, real, carved from an unusual stone and covered in purposeful markings. The question suddenly shifted from what this object was to who made it and why it had been buried here. It also raised the challenge of understanding what secrets it might contain, if any, and whether it had survived intact through thousands of years underground. Excavation records from the early 20th century hinted at similar finds, but those were largely disregarded or lost in the annals of fading scholarship. In fact, Mike had stumbled on a forgotten clue when sorting through old archives in the British Museum, a leather journal of Leonard Woolley, a famous archaeologist from the 1920s, who mentioned a god's purse, unearthed but dismissed as possibly a forgery. Now, decades later, that faded mention had led directly to this awe-inspiring stone handbag, awakening long-lost mysteries. This object seemed to hold a power beyond its physical form. It was a vessel bridging ancient belief with undiscovered knowledge. What had once seemed a mythological symbol was now a reality, demanding serious scientific and linguistic scrutiny. The entire team was aware that unearthing the handbag could expose wisdom preserved by a civilization whose reach might have extended further than history recorded. Yet, the handbag also posed a practical dilemma: how to safely study something so delicate, heavy with meaning, and so cryptic. The discovery of the handbag was a turning point that transformed a routine excavation into an epic quest for lost knowledge. Yet, the real story, what lay carved into its surface, and what it meant for humanity was yet to be revealed. The mystery of the handbag led naturally to understanding the deeper significance of the symbol itself, known across ancient cultures far beyond Mesopotamia. Symbols rooted in myth and reality. The handbag symbol was a recurring image throughout ancient Mesopotamian art, carved into stone reliefs across cities from Iraq to Turkey, often held by gods, winged beings, and rulers. Scholars had long puzzled over the meaning of these enigmatic shapes, with many interpreting them as mere decorative motifs or utilitarian objects like buckets or tool carriers. However, the widespread and consistent appearance of this symbol hinted at a significance that transcended ordinary utility. It was clearly a powerful icon embedded deeply in the religious and cultural consciousness of these ancient societies. At sites such as the Palace of Sargon II in Khorsabad, winged figures named Apkallu were depicted holding these handbag-like objects, imbuing them with divine or semi-divine authority. In the even older Göbekli Tepe pillars in Turkey, which date back some 11,000 years, similar shapes appeared carved into megaliths, suggesting that the symbol's origins predate the Sumerians by millennia. This enormous time span and cultural diffusion indicated that the handbag represented an idea or an object of profound importance whose meaning was passed far beyond any single civilization. While some modern scholars dismissed the handbags as ritual vessels or containers for sacred water, a minority theorized they were more than that. Proposals included that these were repositories of arcane knowledge or technology encoded symbolically for safe transmission through generations. The handbag, in this view, was not just art, but a message, a tool, or even a vault containing signs, texts, or objects designed to preserve civilization's most precious secrets. Mike Adams's discovery injected fresh urgency and credibility into these debates. Suddenly, it was no longer just a question of interpretation, but one of uncovering physical evidence. This transition from symbolic to tangible transformed the handbag from artistic mystery into scientific inquiry. It raised new possibilities about ancient peoples' intent and capabilities. Did they possess advanced knowledge guarded within these mysterious bags? In mythologies, carriers of the handbag image were often depicted as teachers or bringers of civilization, beings responsible for delivering essential knowledge to humanity. These divine messengers were not gods to be worshipped blindly, but figures associated with wisdom, culture, and civilization's roots. The handbag thus embodied a sacred trust, a vessel containing the seeds of human advancement in fields like agriculture, language, and mathematics. This symbolism also reflected a worldview where knowledge was physical, monumental, and sacred, a far cry from the intangible or written records we might expect. The handbag symbol represented an ancient form of information storage, cloaked in religious meaning but practical in purpose. Its inclusion alongside depictions of gods implied a reverence reserved for these carriers of knowledge, underscoring their role as guardians of civilization's foundation. The contrast between dismissive scholarship and hopeful speculation created fertile ground for a new expedition and scientific collaboration focused on unlocking the handbag's secrets. This balance of skepticism and wonder propelled the team's research into materials and inscriptions. It demanded cutting-edge technology and interdisciplinary expertise to peel back the layers of mystery. Unlocking the handbag's design and composition was the next critical step toward understanding its creation and purpose, bridging ancient art with scientific analysis. The mysterious material and design. At first glance, the handbag appeared to be carved from diorite, or a similarly hard igneous rock favored by ancient Mesopotamian sculptors. Yet, repeated analyses revealed an unusual truth. The stone had a composition and crystalline structure unlike any known quarry source in the region. Portable X-ray fluorescence testing uncovered silicon dioxide mixed with trace elements that simply should not be present in local geology. This suggested that the material either originated from an unknown source or was deliberately engineered, a startling revelation that hinted at ancient material science beyond current understanding. The surface of the handbag displayed geometric patterns that were far from random decoration. Spirals followed the golden ratio, and tessellated designs reflected advanced knowledge of mathematical principles. These patterns were carefully calculated sequences, indicating a sophisticated grasp of geometry that modern scholars find remarkable for the artifact's purported age. Such precision suggested the object was crafted not just for beauty, but to convey encoded information or to serve a functional purpose. In addition to the geometry, a series of unfamiliar symbols ran along the base of the handbag. They resembled cuneiform script, but matched none previously recorded by linguists. These proto-inscriptions raised the possibility that the handbag carried a form of early writing, possibly predating known cuneiform tablets by centuries. The fragmented text suggested a message waiting to be decoded, one that might explain the handbag's origin, function, or the knowledge it contained. The craftsmanship implied highly skilled artisans, perhaps working under religious or scholarly patronage, who combined artistry with technical expertise. The handbag was carved from a single solid piece of stone, yet its weight and texture implied immense effort and sophisticated tools. The way the stone seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it gave the object an uncanny quality, as if imbued with hidden power or knowledge. Dr. Asha Neifer's team documented every detail meticulously, aware that this object could rewrite the history of ancient technology and craftsmanship. The advanced mathematical motifs drew parallels with other ancient masterpieces, such as the Antikythera mechanism, highlighting that complex scientific knowledge existed much earlier than often recognized. The handbag seemed to embody a fusion of art, science, and spirituality. Further study revealed that the carved patterns functioned not only as decoration, but as an integrated locking and tension system.
A simple handbag symbol appearing in the carving of an ancient culture. And yet, take a step back and realize that this symbol appears in works from Mesopotamia to Mesoamerica.
The grooves along the handle corresponded to pressure points that might release a hidden mechanism if manipulated correctly. This hinted at an ancient technology designed to protect its contents, resembling a security system more often associated with modern engineering than antiquity. Such discoveries challenged the assumption that early civilizations lacked complex technological comprehension. The handbag stood as a testament to extraordinary skill and knowledge preserved in stone through millennia. It raised profound questions about the origins of craftsmanship and the transmission of knowledge across ancient cultures. While the mystery of the material and design deepened, the key to unlocking the handbag's secrets lay in interpreting the inscriptions and understanding its intended purpose, an endeavor that would soon involve the expertise of linguistic scholars and scientists. This growing intrigue set the stage for linguistic breakthroughs and cautious preparations to open the enigmatic handbag. Unlocking forgotten scripts. When Dr. Hassan al-Mahmoud arrived at the excavation site, his reputation as a linguistic expert preceded him. With over 40 years dedicated to ancient Mesopotamian languages, he had deciphered scripts many considered indecipherable. Yet, when he first laid eyes on the stone handbag, he was speechless, shaking his head in disbelief that this mythological symbol was now real. For nearly 5 minutes, he stood motionless, caught between skepticism and awe, realizing the significance of what lay before him not merely as an artifact, but as a message from antiquity. Over the next 3 days, Hassan pored over the inscriptions covering the base of the handbag, using magnifying lenses and cross-referencing the characters with every text in his immense digital archive. The symbols resembled early cuneiform, but they defied direct translation, appearing as a previously unknown proto-writing system predating Sumerian texts by at least 5 centuries. Though fragmented, Hassan estimated they could decode about 70% of the message, an astonishing breakthrough that pushed back the timeline of written communication. The inscription referred to carriers of foundation, described as beings who brought essential knowledge to humanity, not gods, but teachers. This was a provocative shift from divine myth to a narrative about real individuals preserving key elements that shaped civilization. These seeds of civilization included agriculture, mathematics, astronomy, metallurgy, written language, medicine, and architecture, foundational pillars credited to these ancient teachers rather than mysterious deities. Hassan's translation revealed that such knowledge wasn't just abstract. According to the message, it was physically contained within objects like the handbag itself. The text hinted at a deliberately crafted vessel intended to safeguard and pass down these fundamental principles across millennia. This suggested that the handbag was more than a symbol. It was a kind of ancient container or archive designed to endure through time. The linguistic discovery stirred a mixture of excitement and caution among the team. Many questioned whether the handbag should be opened, given its sacred significance and the unknown risks. Some worried about damaging an irreplaceable piece of history, while others felt compelled to uncover the tangible knowledge it might contain. Dr. Nefer herself was torn, understanding both the scientific potential and the necessity of preserving integrity. Hassan explained that whoever engineered this object intended its discovery and use by future generations. The exquisite precision of the carvings and the complexity of the inscriptions pointed to a purposeful design meant to be decoded and accessed, not just admired. The engraving and mathematical sophistication were clues to unlocking something of extraordinary value, waiting patiently beneath the desert soil. This revelation shifted the team's approach. They now viewed the handbag not simply as a relic, but as a sealed time capsule, a deliberate package sent across ages to reach modern minds. What knowledge did it contain? Who were these teachers referred to in the texts? And how had this wisdom survived the vicissitudes of history hidden beneath layers of sand and stone? The message raised profound questions about human progress and cultural transmission. It suggested that ancient knowledge was not lost by accident, but preserved intentionally by advanced civilizations or enlightened groups, anticipating future rediscovery. This forced the entire team to consider the handbag as a legacy rather than a mystery, not just a curiosity, but a key to understanding ancient humanity. With the inscriptions decoded and their meaning becoming clear, the logical next step was to prepare for the delicate and potentially groundbreaking task of opening the handbag itself, unlocking secrets sealed for thousands of years. Preparing to open the handbag. The decision to open the handbag was not taken lightly. The team faced a monumental challenge: how to access whatever was inside without damaging the artifact or its contents. The handbag was carved from a single piece of stone, hollow yet sealed seamlessly, with no visible hinges or obvious entry points. The surface's intricate geometric patterns appeared to be part of an advanced locking mechanism, requiring detailed mapping and analysis before any physical intervention. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the materials specialist, led efforts to understand the handbag's pressure and tension system. Using X-ray scanning, laser mapping, and 3D modeling, the team identified a pattern of pressure points engraved along the handle and body. These points formed a kind of release sequence, suggesting the handbag might unlock not by force, but through specific, coordinated manipulation of its surface, the hallmark of an ancient security design unlike any previously documented. After several days of repeated testing, simulations, and consultations with the Iraqi Ministry of Antiquities, the team crafted a cautious plan. They would apply microscopic pulses to the engraved pressure nodes, monitoring every reaction with high-resolution cameras, vibration sensors, thermal imaging, and spectrometers. The entire process would occur in a climate-controlled containment tent, far from other artifacts, to prevent any collateral damage. The atmosphere was tense as the first pulses were applied. With each release, the handbag emitted a faint low-frequency resonance, like the subtle hum of a tuning fork. The team held their breath. Sensors showed no alarming temperature changes or structural stress, indicating the handbag was withstanding the procedure. Gradually, tension eased across the surface, moving the object closer to opening without visible damage or fracturing. At the final pressure point, the air was thick with anticipation. A soft click resonated, and a thin vertical seam appeared near the top edge of the curved handle. Without any use of brute force, the handle shifted upward gently, releasing after thousands of years of dormancy. The room fell silent as the object was carefully opened, revealing a smooth interior lined with a metallic sheen that somehow contrasted with its exterior stone. Inside sat 7 cylindrical objects, each carefully nestled in recessed grooves. The cylinders were unlike anything anyone expected. Transparent, faintly iridescent, and about the size of coin rolls. They shimmered with shifting layers of light, crafted from quartz fused inexplicably with synthetic materials. Etched onto each were distinct symbols representing grains, geometric figures, stars, writing, and more.
These handbags were symbolic. With everything ancient people knew about the cosmos, these bags, carried by gods and carved into temples and walls, were cosmic symbolism,
hinting at a sophisticated coding of knowledge. Unsurprisingly, the excitement was tempered by caution. Dr. Neiffer warned the team to avoid touching the cylinders prematurely. Their contents could be fragile or dangerous. Yet instruments continuously detected a stable energy signature emanating from within, unlike any historic artifact ever studied. The cylinders appeared to function as a kind of data storage, holding information compressed at a molecular or quantum level, technology that seemed millennia ahead of modern understanding. As the world awaited the decoding of this newfound trove, the site near Uruk promised to rewrite history in ways no one could have imagined when the shovel first struck stone, revealing the cylinders inside. As the handle slowly lifted away, the team caught their first glimpse of the handbag's mysterious contents. Inside sat 7 cylinders, each perfectly placed in recessed grooves carved into the stone's interior.
A handbag. That's right. Ancient Sumerians were more than familiar with handbags, or perhaps objects that modern people perceive as such.
Their appearance defied expectations, transparent and faintly iridescent, like quartz fused with some unknown synthetic element. These cylinders shimmered with shifting layers of color, their surfaces etched with symbols ranging from grains and geometric shapes to stars, crossed hammers, writing, plants, and buildings. The variety of symbols suggested a complex and deliberate code. The team immediately recognized that these were no ordinary artifacts. Despite being millennia old, the cylinders emitted a stable energy signature, detected by Dr. Tanaka's spectrometers as something unlike any historic material previously studied. The readings hinted at a form of data storage operating on a molecular or quantum level, a discovery that bordered on science fiction. The medium inside the cylinders appeared designed to preserve vast amounts of information across the centuries in a compact and durable form. While emotions ran high, caution prevailed. Dr. Neiffer warned everyone not to touch the cylinders prematurely, recognizing the potential fragility or unknown properties of these objects. Their shimmering interior seemed to hold secrets far beyond simple relics or scroll cases. They were carefully documented from every angle, with high-resolution imaging and spectrometry, capturing every detail before any attempt to extract or study the contents further. The translucent cylinders were about the size of modern coin rolls, but what truly captivated the team was the seemingly encoded information visible within. Dr. Almud held one marked with various pictographs up to the morning light, observing layers upon layers of patterns stacked like microscopic scripts, compressed to an impossible degree. This was not symbolic decoration, but an actual storage medium, containing literal knowledge preserved from the dawn of civilization. News of the opening spread swiftly, drawing international teams of scientists and historians to the site near Uruk. A specially constructed laboratory in Baghdad was dedicated solely to the handbag and its contents, allowing experts from multiple disciplines to collaborate on decoding the extraordinary data. The global attention underscored the importance of this discovery, ancient knowledge preserved in a way that challenged every assumption about early civilizations. Using advanced quantum imaging and spectroscopy, researchers began unraveling the information encoded within the cylinders. The one marked with grain symbols revealed detailed agricultural practices, techniques for crop rotation, irrigation, and selective breeding that wouldn't be rediscovered for thousands of years. This alone challenged the notion of a linear progression in agricultural science, unlocking secrets of sustainability long lost to time. Another cylinder contained advanced mathematical and astronomical calculations. These geometric proofs included remarkably precise measurements of planetary orbits, indicating a sophisticated understanding of celestial movements far earlier than previously thought. Such knowledge hinted that ancient civilizations had both scientific curiosity and the capability to map the heavens with extraordinary accuracy, rewriting chapters of human intellectual history. But the most astonishing revelations came from the medicine cylinder. It contained formulas for natural antibiotics derived from plants and minerals that modern science has only recently identified. When synthetic versions were tested, one formula showed effectiveness against antibiotic-resistant bacteria, a breakthrough that could have profound implications for contemporary medicine and global health. The medical knowledge stored in this ancient capsule bridged the past and present in an unexpected and powerful way. These discoveries suggested that an advanced civilization, or a group of exceptionally knowledgeable individuals, flourished in Mesopotamia long before the rise of the Sumerians. They deliberately encoded their wisdom in a format engineered to withstand the collapse of empires and millennia of geological change. This revelation transformed the handbag from an archaeological curiosity into a beacon of lost knowledge, preserved by teachers who intended it for future generations. The unlocking of the cylinders opened a window into an ancient legacy far richer than anyone had dared imagine, reshaping our understanding of history, science, and human ingenuity. From this trove of knowledge, the story broadened to consider not just what was preserved, but why and by whom, setting the stage for a reflection on humanity's forgotten brilliance. Ancient knowledge, rediscovered. The encoded information within the handbag's cylinders painted a startling picture of an ancient world far more sophisticated than history had recorded. Agriculture, once thought to have developed gradually, was revealed to have included advanced crop rotation, irrigation methods, and selective breeding refined over centuries. This knowledge demonstrated an ecological wisdom that sustained civilizations and allowed settlements to thrive in challenging environments, challenging previous assumptions about early human survival. Mathematics and astronomy contained in the cylinders rewrote the timeline of scientific achievement. The geometric proofs and detailed celestial measurements showed a grasp of planetary movement that surpassed much later civilizations. Ancient observers charted orbits and cycles with stunning accuracy, utilizing mathematics that reflected a deep, formal understanding of the cosmos. This shifted the perspective of early scholars from mere observers to pioneers of scientific thought. The medical formulas were a breakthrough in the field of medicine. Inside the bright medium were the recipes for natural antibiotics that modern laboratories are just now identifying. Compounds that were only found by modern scientists in recent decades. The consequences were great. The early people had, and still have, a practical knowledge of the disease that only modern medicine is getting back. The discovery pointed to a lost knowledge of healing that could be used to fight the most resistant pathogens of today. The art of metalworking and craftsmanship were also revealed by the objects. The metallurgy was thoroughly described, and the technique of treating and molding the metal was so advanced that it was practically a technology of the future. This view of material science implies that ancient cultures were already mastering complicated engineering accomplishments much earlier than previously recorded. The written language that, like the inscriptions, was a civilization seed and that developed with the writings of the first documents showed that the earliest scripts were part of a wider tradition of recording and transmitting vital knowledge. The proto-writing in the handbag itself indicated a continuity of information-sharing practices that were transferred from one generation to another, which were even prior to the known cuneiform, and which implied a richer textual history than previously assumed.
Ancient carvings from these cultures are not exactly abundant, so it seems strange that a decent number of those that have survived the ravages of time carry the handbag symbol.
The final pillar, which is throughout the cylinders, is architecture. The plans and principles for constructing durable buildings and cities were revealed through the data, which emphasized mainly the urban planting and the structural techniques that supported large and organized populations. This turned into a reason for thinking that early civilizations were not merely survivalist communities, but, on the contrary, deliberately designed complex societies with long-term visions. The rediscovery of this knowledge triggered a re-evaluation of the narrative of human progress among scholars. It was not a simple, linear progression from primitive beginnings to modern sophistication. Rather, the evidence pointed to cycles of discovery, preservation, and eventual loss. The handbag's contents represented a conscious act of an ancient culture to freeze and safeguard wisdom through time, expecting to be rediscovered in the future. Mike Adams, who was once a non-entity assistant, suddenly became the person who brought about the change of a whole new paradigm. His instinct and commitment to a forgotten journal note changed it into the most incredible archaeological find ever in the history of mankind. The handbag connected the past with the present, and not only disclosed the knowledge that humanity once possessed, but also that which it can still learn. This rediscovery echoed beyond academia, igniting curiosity about the original creators and the legacy left for the ages. A story far from finished and still unfolding beneath the sands of Mesopotamia. As the team continued to decode the cylinders, the line between ancient mystery and modern revelation blurred, renewing the quest to understand our shared origins. The legacy and future questions. The discovery of the ancient Sumerian handbag near Uruk has redefined our view of early civilization. Far from a simple artifact, it stands as proof of advanced knowledge deliberately preserved across millennia. Its crystalline cylinders and intricate inscriptions challenge the notion that progress is purely linear, suggesting that wisdom can be lost and later rediscovered. Ongoing excavations hint that the site holds far more than expected, a repository of forgotten knowledge buried beneath the sands. Research teams are uncovering evidence of a civilization richer and more sophisticated than history has recorded. The discoverer, Mike Adams, has very humbly shared the credit with the ancient creators and the researchers taking up the challenge of deciphering. The 7 engraved principles in the handbag, forming the areas of agriculture, mathematics, astronomy, metallurgy, language, medicine, and architecture, are indeed the very pillars of civilization, if not the whole civilization. The studies coming one after another show that these lessons were intentionally hidden till the end of the day, that even war, civilization decline, and time could not put them off. The discovery, besides, has put forth deeply rooted questions. Who were the ones who made the knowledge carriers? What happened to their civilization? Is it possible that some other time capsules are lying undiscovered somewhere? Such enigmas give us a hint that history is not a fixed affair, but instead, it is a moving one that changes constantly with new discoveries. The public's interest in the handbag is an indication of the desire to have a connection with our forebears. The accessory is now being displayed in museums as a human resilience and intelligence representation, showing the unity of science, art, and myth. Meanwhile, scholars are digging deeper, and they have to do the work of both keeping the treasures safe from harm and revealing their mysteries. Their work is as much honoring the past as it is pushing the limits of human knowledge to new heights. This extraordinary find shows us that ancient civilizations were far more advanced and mindful of their legacy than we ever imagined. The stone handbag isn't just an artifact. It's a time capsule bridging thousands of years of human wisdom. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, make sure to like and subscribe for more incredible discoveries. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.